Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze is sponsored by Dork Publishing, expanding minds through fantasy since 2018. Learn more at the Dork Publishing website, www.dorcpublishing.com.
I wanna visit all the places nobody goes. I wanna teach all the things that nobody knows. I wanna grow wings, leave the coop, learn to fly. Bungee jump from the tallest building in Dubai. I wanna fly around town in my UFO. I wanna eat real food, not the GMOs. I wanna make moves, call the shots like the boss. I wanna love like I never lost.
Thanks for returning back to Desertwood Days. Are you ready for a little theater? Well, today our guest, Mrs. Charlotte Strayhorne. Hello there.
Welcome.
How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Great.
We're ready to talk a little theater.
All right, let's talk theater. So, Charlotte, you're an actress. You're production assistant.
I'm the production stage manager.
Production stage
For
manager.
B3 Productions, which means I oversee all the productions as far as stage manager
Okay.
and talk with the stage managers about what their needs are. If they need special tech. We created a position during the pandemic,
Okay.
so I became very well versed with Zoom and making slides and how they
You all
appear
know
and
about Zoom.
images and all that other stuff. And so, as production stage manager, I make sure that the stage managers have what they need.
Awesome, awesome. And you're also a pastor.
I am Reverend Charlotte.
Reverend
Yes.
Charlotte.
Yes, or RC.
Okay. And you're a pastor at what church?
Casa de Cristo Church and Apostolic Center. We're located at 1029 East Turney, which is between Indian School, north of Indian School, between 7th Street and 12th Street.
Okay. So you know what, Charlotte, I worked with you in a production, and you know what? She should be doing stand-up also because she's funny as heck. You're going to find that out in a moment. But I'd like to give our audience a little bit of bio on our guests, let them feel like they know you. How did Charlotte get started in this industry?
Well, I was in high school in the, I think, 11th grade. And in order to get into what we call Thalians, because we didn't call it thespians, we were Thalians.
Okay.
And you had to audition. And my first audition in 10th grade was horrible. Then my second audition in 11th grade was much better. And Miss Rosenberg said, okay, you can join us.
Okay.
But I was just more about hanging out with the cool theater people.
Okay.
But my first show was Up the Down Staircase. And I played student number 7. And that was my big break into acting.
Okay.
My mother was, okay, it's high school.
Right.
And so she came to every show that I was in. Then in college, I went to Xavier University. And my major in college was pre-law.
Okay.
Then I changed my major to theology.
Oh.
And then I changed my major to theater. Now in pre-law, parents were very supportive.
Okay.
Theology, dad was supportive, but my mom's kind of like, nah. When I changed my major to theater, everything got cut off. And bottom line, though, is that both my parents, while I was in Cincinnati, came to every show. Very supportive, very encouraging. My dad was a Baptist minister, and he sang. So if I was in a musical, he would tell me after the show, now you need to hit this note this way. And that was his encouragement for me.
Right.
So all total, I've been in over, I'd say, 100 productions, probably more than that, and have just recently started doing more behind the scenes stuff with stage managing, house manager, ticket sales, marketing,
Right.
whatever is needed.
Right. So when you initially started out, what was it that inspired you other than hanging out with the cool people? You see that she said the theater people are the cool people, because a lot of times people don't think the theater people are the cool people, but you're really cool.
We are the cool people.
So what was it that inspired you to get into theater?
I think it was, I'd like to say what inspires me to stay in theater is to make that transition of having people step away from what is going on in their lives and get into this existential existence of the theater. And as an actor, to be able to portray a character or portray a situation that takes people away from where they are into that scene and into what's going on stage. I enjoy doing different voices. I enjoy doing different characters, and I enjoy singing, and have been in shows where I've played 3 or 4 different characters while on stage. So it's the challenge of being able to summon up who that is.
Right. Do you have a preference? I mean, do you, a preference of genre? Do you prefer musicals or?
Not really.
No.
I sing, and I know that I sing.
Did you do that more for Dad?
Well,
Musicals?
to be fair, I did not start singing until after I graduated from high school.
Oh.
They used to pay me not to sing because it was horrible.
Oh.
My oldest brother had a singing group, gospel singing group, and I would try to sing with the boys, and he would punch me, or he would say, "Dad, make her stop. She's throwing us off." And they would send me to the store to get soda so that I...
Well, that doesn't mean you're bad because you're throwing them off.
I was bad.
Were you bad?
I was bad. When I was in grade school, the vicar, it was me, the vicar, and Gary, and neither one of us could sing.
Oh.
But he would encourage Gary and I to sing at the top of our lungs. And he would say, "The Bible says, make a joyful noise. It doesn't have to be on key."
Right.
And so we would sing.
It doesn't say that.
we would sing at the top of our lungs, and the choir director would look over sternly at Gary and I, and like. So when I did start singing, I was a senior in high school, walking past the choir room, and I was playing in the band, and the choir director stopped me and said, "Strayhorne, can you sing tenor?" And I'm like, "I don't know, I guess so." "Good, I need 10 female tenors and you're number 1.
Okay,
And
number 1.
I said, okay. And so we the 10 of us were standing in the back of the choir trying to make that tenor voice, and we did it. Then when I went to college, I started at Valparaiso and then went on to Xavier. I auditioned for Schola Cantorum at Valparaiso, got in. I was surprised I got in, and had an alto solo. Then when I went to Xavier, at the time that I went to Xavier, there were only 4 females in the whole choir and clef club. And I got in and started singing second soprano. So I went from male tenor to second soprano in like 18 months.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's when I started fine-tuning my voice more, and went to be in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, and played Matilda Cartwright, and was singing these really high notes. And the director said, "Well, you can hit those notes, and I'm going to send you to a voice teacher who will teach you how to do that." So I got all of this training and all this exciting stuff, and it was free because I was in college. So going to Bonnie Bird to get my voice lessons and stretch my range between Bonnie and my dad. You know, on Sunday I'm singing gospel, and on Monday I'm singing Italian. So
okay, so we got a gist of what got you into this as a young person. Now that you're this mature woman, and now you're doing theater, and you're now doing behind the scenes type stuff, are you also training in theater?
I learn new stuff every day. Working with Ilana Lydia has just been a joy. And a lot of things I'll say, "Oh yeah, I can do that," but I have to go learn how to do it. But I'll do that for you as soon as I learn how to do it. Okay. And so the whole thing with the pandemic and going Zoom, keeping theater alive by going Zoom.
Right. The pandemic taught us a lot of things.
The pandemic taught us a lot.
Yes.
A lot of technical stuff, stuff that we didn't know we could do.
Right.
Stuff that now that people are starting to go back to live theater, there's still some people that won't get out of their homes. Right. So we still have to be able to reach out to those people. Right. So when I look at what am I still in a learning situation? Always. Life is about learning. It's a constant learning experience.
True. That is true.
Even if it's, I didn't know I could flip that hamburger that way. It's still a learning experience.
It is. And you know what? I think we're in trouble the minute we stop learning.
Absolutely.
We're in trouble.
Absolutely.
You know what? I saw, we only have a few minutes before we go to break. So I won't ask this question. I'll save it to after break. I like to know during the pandemic, we learned so many different things. Was there something that we learned that you like to keep and move forward in the real live area, being on the stage? You wouldn't want to change going forward?
I developed different characters because we not only had to do Zoom, there were times when we had to do, instead of having enough actors to fill each role, we had to have them carry multiple roles.
Right.
And so in doing that, stretching my repertoire to being a grumpy old lady to being a sweet young thing, it helped develop my repertoire of characters that I can pull up when doing so many different roles.
Okay, so you'd like to keep that moving forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, it may be a little gray down here, but when you listen to my voice, it's not as gray.
Right, and
So-
we can do something with that gray. But we're going to talk more with Charlotte Strayhorne right after this commercial break. Welcome back to Desertwood Days, and I am here with the talented Charlotte Strayhorne. So, Charlotte, we were talking about the things that you like to see transfer over into the stage world since can we even say we're post-pandemic now? I guess.
I wouldn't call us post-pandemic.
Okay. We're still in it.
There's still places where I won't go without a mask.
Right.
So we're in it, but not as bad as it was before.
Right. You know what? I saw something from one of my theater friends. She posted something about theater and the lack of attendance, and that really bothered me because you know what? It's true. We have people that will say there's nothing to do here in Arizona, but there's plenty to do here in Arizona.
Absolutely.
We have people that'll say, you know what, I want to go to Broadway to see a stage play, but we have those plays here in Arizona, but they never show up. What's your take on that? Why is that happening? Why aren't we getting more people out to?
I think it's more about getting the word out to let people know. And the more we do shows like this, the more we appear on the news with, oh, this show is coming or so-and-so's producing this show, the better the turnout is. But then on the other side of that, because of the pandemic and people are under economic stress right now, I mean, it's what, $5 a gallon for gas again?
Yeah.
So you start making those choices about spendable income and what you're going to spend your money on. And is it going to be worth the $20 to go to see a show that's put on by community theater? But we have some professional theaters here as well.
Right.
So there are a lot of options and there are a lot of possibilities. And it's just a matter of people telling people, hey, you got to go see this show.
Well, you know what? I don't see a shortage of consumers in them burger shacks. And now them combo meals pretty close to $20.
Yes.
You can go see a lovely stage play.
I used to get breakfast at McDonald's for $4 and now it's $8. So, yeah.
Yes, everything's pretty pricey. So, Charlotte, I know you brought some media today. I'd like us to take a look at that.
Sure. Pass round the halls while that bird keeps on yapping, 'cause Duncan is about to get got. Right on up here in my heezy. Come on, Candyman, Beetlejuice, Plucky, Eileen, Warnos. All y'all ain't got nothing on me. All you funky spirits from the great beyond, hit me up and take away all that weak-ass female stuff. Slide me some of that extra testosterone. Butch me up head to toe. Fill me with unknown cruelty and uncontrollable murderous rage and intent. 'Cause I ain't nobody's bitch. Show how thick my blood is. Take away the desire for guilt. There can be no regret, no remorse. Save that crap for the priest in the church box. Forget about Grandma and her old-timey ways of peace and femininity. Don't even try to stop me from my overwhelming desire to stab a hoe up in here. True strength, come to this festering wound beneath my breast and use my fading milk as bug juice for your mounting rage, you hit men of murder. Still waters run deep. You can't see it now, but just you wait. In the midnight hour, when all is thought well, hell will be blowing thick, dark smoke, so they won't see me coming. Yeah, I'm strapped, but don't need no gat. I got my blade, and my blade is blind and cuts so clean and so deep, not even CSI can track me. Angels can try to throw some light and holler, pump your brakes and slow your roll if they want to. Too late. Done is done. Bye, Duncan, and your wife, and your children, and your mama, too.
I'm actually back on now.
Okay, Lady Macbeth.
Well, I did that for B3 production for their cabaret in 2021.
Okay.
And at that time, we were not back live and everything was on video, so that's why you see that kind of distortion. And they asked me to take the monologue from Lady Macbeth and make it more contemporary.
Okay.
So I brought it to the real.
Yes, you did. So, Charlotte, tell us a little, B3 Productions, tell us a little bit about B3 Productions.
Oh, golly, I don't know if I'm the one to talk about,
How long,
I've been with them for 3 years.
okay.
I started the year before the pandemic.
Okay.
So I started in I guess it's been 4 years. I started in 2018.
Okay.
And I auditioned to be in a show.
Okay.
Walked past the director and said, now, if you need a stage manager, just let me know. And I can fill in a stage manager. And she said, really? I said, yeah, you're hired.
Oh, wow.
So I started out at B3 in stage management and have done a couple of shows on stage, done more off stage, and have had actually a blast. I actually, one of the ones we did was for for sound. I did the music for one of the.
So about how many
shorts.
productions do you guys have per year, do you?
I think we do 8 productions a year on a good season.
Okay.
Had a little rough start this season, but we're plugging away.
Okay.
So we do stuff every month during the season. There's something going on.
Okay.
So between the regular shows and B3 basically does shows written by local playwrights. And not necessarily the big name show that everybody's tried and true already.
Right.
But it's more about, I think, I'm not saying it was aliens, but maybe. Shows like that. We're doing Galatea coming up next. And that's rewritten by a local playwright.
Okay.
So we feature local playwrights mostly.
Okay. So where would you like to see theater in Arizona in the next 5 years?
Thriving. I like to see us thriving. And making good business and attracting people and entertaining the world.
Okay.
So.
Okay. You know what? I always like to ask this question. What advice would you give to, say, a mature woman that wants to get into this industry?
Keep plugging away. I started, obviously, when I was in high school and didn't really know what direction I was going, but was fortunate to be surrounded by directors who saw me and saw my talent and said, oh, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. I played a lot of maids. And stereotyping, yes. Racial profiling, yes. All of that is in there. I'm not going to say it's not there. But I am going to say this is 2022. And the opportunities are just vast now for mature women and mature women of color. And that's an important piece to let mature women of color know we can still be viable on stage as long as we know our lines.
Right. That's for sure. So do you have any new projects coming up?
I'm stage managing Galatea.
Okay.
And we open December 8th, I think.
Okay.
And you can go to the B3 webpage or the B3 page on Facebook to get more information.
Okay.
Then after that, I've got a couple more shows that we're going to work on. We're doing the second Festival of Youth, second Festival of Shorts for Youth.
Okay.
And that's coming up. And I enjoy that because it gives us an opportunity to teach young people how to do what we do.
Of course, of course. Where can our audience find you?
You can find me on Facebook under Charlotte Strayhorne with an E. You can find me on YouTube under Casa de Cristo Church and Apostolic Center. I don't do Twitter because they don't allow enough characters for me to say what I want to say. So the two biggest places you can find me is on Facebook and on our webpage, www.casadecristo.org.
It was a pleasure having you here with us today on Desertwood Days.
Thank you very much, Kathy. I enjoyed the opportunity.
Such a pleasure. And thank you for joining us here today on Desertwood Days, and we'll catch you next time.
Today's episode of Desertwood Days with Kathy Blaze was sponsored by Dork Publishing. Visit them at dorkpublishing.com.